Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Wednesday, March 20th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Akron game in 165 days, the game against Michigan in 255 days. All right, joined by Tony Gerdeman here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. We are going to be talking about Pro Day, which is something that's going to be happening on Wednesday at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Tony, I guess let's first of all start with, okay, it's Pro Day. It's guys getting ready for their NFL careers. They just had the NFL Combine. What the heck? Why do they need to do a separate thing?
Well, because not everybody gets invited to the Combine, but also this gives players an opportunity to basically operate in friendly confines, a place they're used to, gives them an opportunity to improve numbers or post numbers for the first time because you're seeing fewer and fewer people doing it at the Combine. This gives them an opportunity to catch passes from their people they know and a place they're familiar with, run on turf that they're always running on, and just it's like working from home, Tom. It's always better than working in the office.
I did like the fact that you said the friendly confines. I'm like, no. They'll be working there later this fall when they play at Wrigley Field. That's a whole different thing. I guess let's start with, we're here every year for this. This is something that I think people maybe see little snippets of or little clips of. Run people through how this day is organized. Like, what does the day look like? To where do they start?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Where are people? All that kind of stuff.
Well, you've got family is here watching as well, and so they're on the sidelines on this sideline, that sideline behind us. We'll all be over there. We'll be in the far corner over there a little bit and off to here with some family members behind us and in front of us. All of the football people and personnel will be on the field. A lot of them are in the way. We're trying to watch, but you'll have groups like are back in the weight room doing a bench press. You'll have some groups out here just going through the various drills, and they'll go position by position doing the drills, and you got everybody with their stopwatches and all of that. And so you're trying to watch something through at an angle because it's happening over there. We're over there, so you're trying to watch it through bodies, dozens of big bodies, and then you try to get some feedback from people. Afterwards, you ask people what they did, but it's a pretty chaotic thing, and it's run by Mickey Marotti, and he's got everything under control, and he's been doing this forever, so this is nothing new for them, and they prepare the players. Okay, this is what you're going to be going through, so they'll have like a dry run on what they're doing and what's going to happen. That's another thing that allows the players to be more comfortable, is that nothing of this is new, even though this is your pro day.
Right, and this is your pro day. You're only going to have one of them, but you can do. Hey, you're going to be lifting this bar in this spot with this amount of weight, and you can practice it and practice it and practice it to be sure, to get ready. We have seen. There's no one out here today, but we have seen Ohio State NFL draft prospects. Steel Chambers was out here working on this turf, working to get ready for the stuff that he's going to be doing at Pro Day. One thing that I think people might not understand is, if you watch the Combine on TV, hey, there's the players running and the time's right on the screen and you have everything and, okay, hey, this guy did this, here's the ranking of all the guys that did their bench press and all that kind of stuff. The bench press happens in the weight room, which is behind a wall over there. We don't get to see it. So sometimes you find out how many reps a guy did. Sometimes you don't. Usually that's... the likelihood of finding out how a guy did generally corresponds with how well the guy felt he did. But, when they're running the 40, you can stand there and you have your stopwatch, or you have the stopwatch app on your phone, and it's like, well, I'm off. I'm going to be, this time's going to be accurate within 0.15 seconds. Well, that's the difference between your first-round draft pick and your sixth-round draft pick for a lot of these positions. So it's kind of it's just an unusual event because it's all happening and you can see some of it and some of it you can't see, and even the stuff you see is kind of like, well, I think I saw what I saw, but...
Yeah, that's just funny watching guys trying to time it on the stopwatch from 50 yards away at an angle from both the start and the finish. I do it just as a joke, and it'll be between 3.7 and 5.7. So, fastest guy, or you can't draft a 5.7 running back, Tom.
Well, you can, but...
The Browns would. But no, then you, as you said, afterwards you try to ask, hey, so how'd you do? And sometimes you get the answer like, oh, I didn't ask. Oh, you didn't ask how you did?
I don't want to be. I didn't want to seem too interested in the job because they might. You got to be smart with your salary negotiations.
Right.
Yeah. One thing that
don't want to seem too eager.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One thing you can glean something from is the stuff that looks much more like football than just like the guy's running the 3-cone drill or whatever. When I think back to pro days, I think of a lot of times when I'm watching guys run 40s with 4 people in front of me. Chicago Bears head coach down in front, like, hey, do you? But one thing I do always think about is, hey, Dwayne Haskins pro day, watching Dwayne Haskins throw on pro day, watching Justin Fields throw on pro day, watching C.J. Stroud throw on pro day. A lot of times the quarterback is one of the most interesting. The quarterback throwing to the wide receivers, can he make all of the throws? Ohio State doesn't have a quarterback who's in the draft this year. They do have a wide receiver of some renown who's going to be in the wide receiver working out to whatever degree he's working out, because he didn't work out at all in Indianapolis. I'm guessing we're going to see a bunch of Marvin Harrison. And Ryan Day on Tuesday said it's going to be Will Howard and Devin Brown throwing to the wide receivers. That's going to be, I think that's going to be interesting to watch Marvin Harrison one last time in here, but also you get a little sneak peek at maybe the quarterback competition.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know that Marvin Harrison is going to do anything. I honestly,
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
And you might see Malik Neighbors move past him on some draft boards because of that LSU receiver. But with Devin Brown and Will Howard throwing to Xavier Johnson, Cade Stover, Mayan Williams, those guys, I think that'll be an interesting opportunity for us to watch the quarterbacks in that realm. But, over the years, I've seen Cardell Jones throw when he was a couple years past. And I think I've seen Troy Smith throw here. One year, Brian Hartline was running routes for the quarterbacks because I remember low.
That one. Yeah, I remember that one.
And because that probably would have been 2018 maybe, because you had the receivers all laughing at him running routes and things like that, having a good time. So sometimes you piecemeal it. And you also have, it won't just be Ohio State guys here. Sometimes you'll have small college local players here. Come on over, let people get a look at you. Sometimes you have guys who, like Zach Bourne, was like, you know what, I'm going to be a long snapper for a little bit and do some long snapping, try to show that, because you may not have a position. This is an opportunity. If you can become a long snapper in the NFL, Tom, it's not like a lot like being a left-handed reliever. Like, you can do that for a long time and make good money. So there are these little things that also happen. But afterwards, it is a complete madhouse. You're trying to grab people sometimes because there's no organization to it in terms of, can you talk to anybody? You just have to grab them. Last year, I got to talk to Marvin Harrison Sr. about Kyle McCord. So you never know who's going to show up, and you try to get as much as you can. And like I said, you can ask somebody about their 40, and if they ran a 4.9 and it should have been a 4.7, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. You do get, one of the things that's cool is you mentioned the guys from the smaller colleges. Like, I remember, wide receiver from Capital in here one year doing stuff, or Otterbein or whatever. These are guys who played Division III, who are not exactly on the Ohio State level of exposure to the NFL. And you generally have, if it's not every single NFL team, it's virtually every NFL team in here, because Ohio State always churns out draftable players. So you get weird things like the year Brady Hoke was an analyst for someone. Brady Hoke is in the Ohio State football facility. I'm not expecting the San Diego Chargers head coach to make the trip to Columbus, but there's always a possibility, and you get it's a real like strange bedfellows kind of event, because it's like, oh boy, this person would not have been very welcome in this facility not all that long ago.
Yeah, that is actually a good question. We should ask Jerry Emig for the guest list and see. I'm not expecting that Jim Harbaugh to be here, but it is also interesting to just see all of these people that, like, very prominent people in the NFL just walking past and, standing shoulder to shoulder with Mike Tomlin or whatever. And there's a GM over there, and that's Mike Mayock before he got fired for terrible drafting with the Raiders. All of these famous people.
Terrible drafting with the Raiders. I've never heard such a thing.
More of a job qualification, isn't it?
So we will be back here on Wednesday covering Pro Day, giving sort of the last hurrah for a bunch of former Buckeyes as they head off to the NFL. Also, as we said, you get to see some of the current Buckeyes. If we do get to see Will Howard and Devin Brown throwing, like running through the route progression, the route tree, that's going to be one of the most interesting things we get to see all
Yeah.
spring. So that'll be definitely something to watch on Wednesday at BuckeyeHuddle.com and YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. And then, of course, we'll be back here on Thursday for more Ohio State player interviews. Lots of news, lots of stuff happening. You can make sure you check us out if you want to support our work and what we do. You can find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Sign up to become a member. Kevin, Tony, and I covering the team. Mark covering recruiting. Our whole team of X's and O's guys making you a smarter football fan, and a really fun and active community on the Huddle Board, presented by Jeff Ruby Steakhouse. That is all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That'll do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.